last part of this is to replace the shocks. And I did a video 11 years ago. It was the first video I ever did, purely for fun, before YouTube was much of a thing, about replacing the shocks in what was my old 2004 Lesabre that I've long since sold, don't have anymore. Got that job done. The job is not too different. Made a couple of mistakes in that one, nothing critical. Hopefully I know better. We'll probably just show you one side and get that done as best we can, and then we will wrap this up. I think what I'm going to do is get my small jack, and I'm going to lift this wheel up and try to condense the distance for this thing, because this is fully extended, and that'll make it a little bit hard. I'll have to stretch this one to get it to fit, and hopefully I can just collapse this rear end a little bit by using my stationary jack. So we'll see how that goes. Now, tried repositioning it, and it's a nice idea, but it's not going to help. Okay, we're looking at the trunk on the driver's side. This is the cap, and I'm trying to do this with one hand while keeping the lens clear. We'll pull this guy off if possible. Well, maybe I will. Ow! Maybe I won't. Anyway, there's a cap that we've got to remove. That will reveal the top bolt on the shock. And one thing that I looked at in referring to the original video I did on this 10 years ago, which has 66,000 views, which really kind of stunned me. There are two little nuts that fasten the shock to the control arm, and those are speed nuts that can easily break off. Those are M8 by 1.25. So I went down to AutoZone and grabbed a handful of those in case they break off. So there are really three nuts to remove. There'll be one nut on the top of the shock right here. One mistake I made in my original video from long ago is that I also took the bolts off of the top of the strut of the shock mount here, which was not necessary. All I need to do is take this one off, take the two off the bottom of the control arm, slide the shock out. So we will press forward. And there is the top of the shock mount, the cover off. We'll replace this guy right here. And well, we will remove this guy right here and pull the shock out. Those are the two bolts that secure the shock to the control arm. So I got two bolts back underneath here that I'll need to loosen. I think they're 10 millimeter. I'm not sure. I'll double check. I also, this is where the M8 by 125 nuts go right here in case they break off when you loosen these. Now notice that this shock is extended some. So what I'm going to do is I originally tried to support the control arm with my big floor jack, and I noted in the other video that I used my much smaller jack with a smaller little pad to lift the control arm back up a little bit and still had access to the bolts. So if I can push that up a little bit, it will save some of the elbow grease I have to exercise in stretching the new shock to fit and meet up with the control arm. So we're going to get the other jack, support the control arm up a little bit, shorten the distance, release these 2 bolts and the top bolt in the trunk, and get this shock out of here. Oh, and we also will we'll also remove the clip that holds the pneumatic hose for the pneumatic pump assembly for the ride leveling system. And again, I'm not even sure it works in this car anymore, but it won't do any harm to reattach it. One thing I will point out that has changed in the 10 years since I did this original shock video is that 10 years ago I had my son Matthew helping me film these things. He could hold the camera and I could work on the stuff. Well, he's long since grown and he's on his own now. So I kind of have to do these on my own, and I can't always get the best camera angle, but I'll do the best I can and hope to provide some good information along the way. So we'll get the other jack and support the control arm and get these bolts loose. So onward and upward. And that's about as far as we can go with this jack. That's okay. So now, we just need to get these lower bolts out and the top bolts out. Okay, sure enough, the bottom bolts here are 10 millimeters. And this is just your basic Harbor Freight There's 2. Pretty easy. And I don't think either one of those bolts broke loose, or those nuts on the other end broke loose. So all we got to do now is go up top and take that crown nut off. Okay, I finally found a 15 millimeter bolt, or head ratchet. I'm realizing now there's nothing holding that thing at the base. I need to take the pneumatic pump hose off the side so this thing can come out. Okay. Trying to see how that clamp. Oh, that's how it comes off. There's that. And then it pops off. Well, that's pretty simple. All right, now we can go back to taking that bolt out the top. I may end up holding the shock from below so it doesn't twist while I take out this bolt. I think that's got it. Oh, not quite. That's got it. So I'll take away this and that little cup. Folks, there is one extricated shock absorber. And now the new one is the reverse of that. These appear the assemblies themselves, the shocks themselves appear to be absolutely symmetric. So it's obviously a little protector for the valve, so we'll leave that on there until we're ready to put the hose back on there. But all that really remains is to put that, probably put the new cap on the bottom of that and then slide it back through. And we have new hardware to do all of that. So here, let's just go ahead and so just take this guy right here. This will go on there like that. Put that on there. Making sure that we're kind of in frame here. Put the new cap on there, slide this through, and then we will put this on there and then put the new bolt in. So okay, something's not right. There we go. There we go. Next trick. And looky here. History repeats itself. Both of my placeholder nut, speed nut holders, retainers on the inside of that clip broke off. So I've got my two M8 by 125 nuts to replace that when I put the when I stretch that shock to meet the control arm. So glad we had those parts. Okay, here are my new M8 by 125s that I just picked up at AutoZone. Make double sure that they fit, and they fit like a glove. So now the next trick is, I'm going to have to pull this here shock down. You know, I may go back and get my, because I'm really struggling. I don't have the arm beam power, as it were, to bring that shock down any further. Let me see if I can. Yeah, there's the screw right there, and that did exactly what we wanted. The shock is now meeting with the screws. Much better access this way. Okay, so I need to get a deep socket to hold this bolt. Well, you can't, I think you can see it. I'm going to hold this bolt in place and then use another wrench to tighten it, since the speed lock, the speed fastener, is broken off, these don't have any way of latching to prevent it from rotating. So if I just turn it, it'll just spin. So I need to fasten the bolt in place, fasten the nut in place while I hold the bolt. So let me go get a proper screw and we'll get that tightened up. Okay. We've got the M13, or excuse me, a 13 millimeter deep socket holding the M8 bolt. I'll hold that in place. It says here. Here we go. All right. So here is that guy. Oh, it's not 15. I would have sworn that was 15. It was 15. Well, that is the new bolt. I wonder if they put a different diameter on it. Okay, either I'm losing my mind or that's a different diameter bolt. I'll be darned, it's a 17. That new bolt there. All we've got to do now, reattach the pneumatic line and the clip, and we're done. What we've got to do now is we'll take off this little protective gadget over the valve. There. And then we will put this guy on top of it. Whoop. Ah, it's fighting me, of course. There we go. And I'm going to clamp that with a pair of pliers and that'll fix that. Good show. There. All right. All right. That's captive and it's not going anywhere. This side is done. All we have left here is to put this cap back on. Notice that the cap is not symmetric. It's oblong to one side. Pop that in. Reinsert the carpet. There. And we'll put this guy right here, assuming it didn't strip out. There. Folks, this is done. Well, folks, I think what I'm going to do is I want to go ahead and do the other shock. I'm not going to film that. It's essentially the exact same thing. No point repeating it. And then I will do a wrap up when that's all done. See you in a little bit. Well, the other shock is on. The tires are up, or attached. Everything is torqued to spec. And the motor mount and shock project for my mom's 2005 Lesabre is finished. As for me, I guess that's going to be it for this one. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed it. Like and subscribe if you like DIY videos. Trying to get some more published if I can keep my cameras operational. It really is worth doing yourself if you can do it at all, and that's been my motto for a long time. So if you got some project, give it a shot. Leave your comments and questions. Happy to listen to all kinds of comments, constructive criticisms. If you're just out to troll, don't bother. Other than that, have a blessed day, everybody. Bye-bye.